right, family, how y'all doing tonight? Thank you all for joining us. Fun topic tonight.
As I think every night.
Better than last night. Don't we always say that? Got another good topic for you all
better
tonight.
than last night. I was sitting here trying to think of what was last night. So we do so many of these. It kind of like
No, last
merges
night was
in.
real good though. I just remember
Yeah.
that it was a good topic.
Yeah, it always
Yeah.
is.
As always, if you all can please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, we really appreciate it. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of the above, etc., etc. And so tonight's topic is what to do when struggling with an immature spouse. What do you do?
Yeah, this is an unfortunate one, but of course, this applies when you're either dating or when you are already together. Sometimes a lot of these traits don't come out until you have been with your partner for a while. But in this case, this young man found out that his potential dating spouse is immature. So we can dig on it. Okay. I think it's time to find someone new, our subject. Oh, first, before we do that, do you mind plugging in the...
No.
I don't know. It's supposed to be hooked up, but I guess it didn't plug in all the way. Real quick, want to make sure our computers and everything are plugged in. Instagram viewers, thank you for joining us. Of course, you can head on over to YouTube to check out the video on the actual screen, along with updated audio and all that other good stuff.
Yeah, what you'll see is not the video, but the letter. You'll see the
Yes,
details of the letter,
yeah.
the text, and the letter, and all of that, and also the HD sound and audio.
Yeah.
So let's begin.
Yes. Okay, so we've been dating for about 6 months, and these little things have been adding up. And I'm starting to feel like she wouldn't be a great life partner. She's college educated, owns her own business, and does well, but sometimes you think she's a kid. She's 34 and I am 36. Never made coffee before, no big deal, gave it a shot, and coffee and grounds were all over the floor and counter. Sorry. Never uses the oven. I had to walk her through making a frozen pizza the other day, and it was a chore. Doesn't drive and refuses to ever learn. She's always lived in a large city with subways.
New York. It's not like New York.
When I asked about kids someday, she said she will just Uber them everywhere, which is totally unrealistic to me. We only see each other once or twice a week on the weekends. And I know some people will probably say she's cheating, but I never had any legit reason to suspect it because of her shy personality. And after this latest find, I 100% know that's not the case. So she's never invited me over. I've asked and she's refused. I started joking that maybe her husband is back at home and that's why she doesn't want me over. Finally, I found a way in. We were leaving a restaurant and she needed to stop and get something. I started badgering her and she said I could wait in the lobby. Once inside, I kept insisting and she said that I could stand in the doorway, but I couldn't come in. I'm guessing he's meant to say couldn't. Once we got to that point, she goes inside but doesn't turn on the lights. I start begging her if I can use the bathroom, and after some back and forth, she finally agrees but tells me to make it quick and get back outside. I had never seen anything like it. The place was absolutely disgusting. Random crap and clothes all over the place, clutter over the kitchen where you could barely see the counter, and oh God, the bathroom. The bathroom was so horribly disgusting. It looked like it hadn't been cleaned in years. Shower, floor, sink, and mirror just covered in crud. I haven't seen that word in a minute. The toilet was by far the worst. One of the back anchors of the toilet seat was broken, so it just slipped all over the place, and the toilet bowl had more yellow than white. So this is why she never invited me over. The place was horribly disgusting. What would you do? Woo! I would run. It's different for I guess when I would say this is a lot more about basic life skills, but this can apply for both. Basic life skills can go for both a man and a woman. So you could probably see this same very thing happen with a woman, in the sense of the woman seeing a man this way, and she would more so be wanting, be willing to deal with it and in a way help. Maybe like clean up. So I think it's kind of maybe a double standard with this. But, as not saying that it's not men don't have to do it. I'm just saying that the men with him seeing her like this, it's the first instinct is more so like run, like, because it's like, oh heck nah. But for a woman, her first instinct, well, I mean, for mine, when I think of like dirtiness and I just want to clean it, but it's a little different. So I guess that not so much a double standard, but a different of a mindset per se.
Yeah, that's a person thing.
Yeah.
Some people are clean, some people are dirty.
Yeah.
So that's just is what it is. I've had college roommates that had kept things clean and those who did not.
Yeah.
Females too, they keep things clean and some do not. Their cars, some people keep their cars clean and some people do not. But overall, it is just the personality.
Yeah.
Whatever your personality is, if you're a clean person, if you're not, then that's how you keep your life and your lifestyle. So she's messy. I get that. And let's break this down.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's not that it's not a lot, but it is for her. Yeah. She's
not so much her. Yeah, I wasn't meaning it's a lot for her, but yeah, I get what you're saying. But I was saying this is a lot to break down because I like all the details and stuff, but great day, Anyway, so let's go through this. I'm starting to feel like she wouldn't be a great life partner. Yeah.
Yep. So she's college educated. Okay. Modern. That's what they are now these days. Owns her own business. Same thing. Entrepreneur. Hear that all the time.
And does well. That is pretty interesting. So you would hope that she has some life skills in the sense of, I guess, like managing money or whatever, But
I mean, it could be that she does a lot more business and she's not at home. And I don't know what her business is, to be honest with you, but it seems as if that she's hardly home. So that's the reason why her house is a mess. But you would think that if you're hardly there, then you will possibly be clean. But women do makeup. Women put on all these clothes. Women have all these accessories and things that they put on. And often at times, if they're never home, that stuff is everywhere. I do know that for a fact.
Yeah. And it depends on the woman though. Yeah, like true. Like this isn't something that, I mean, I think about me like with our like clothes and stuff, but I wouldn't just like leave it all the time like that. But again, this is not a judgment,
But she comes off as somebody who's never home.
Possibly. Yeah, or leave super tired. It's a lot. I think it's a lot of reasons why a person may lack basic life skills per se, and at least doesn't execute them very well within their life. And we'll get into a lot of those reasons.
Right.
Later.
I've heard this. I've seen this. I witnessed this to be true.
Yeah.
And I've heard friends of mine say these things about women that they've dated in the past.
And that's unfortunate because to me, that's why I was really excited to get this question to be able to answer, because this is also part of the reason why Wifeconomics was created, to be able to impart not only just basic life skills upon women who might not have had the opportunity. A lot of the reasons we'll get into later why a woman might have missed the opportunity to learn a lot of the life skills or relationship skills that they need. And, and then when looking at a situation like this, it really just shows how, not having these basic life skills can really ruin a relationship regardless of your gender, whether it's, male or female. So, yeah, but let's keep going.
Yeah, because you have to look at what life will be like with children. Children are actually messy.
Yeah.
So if your wife is messy too, and your children are messy, then your whole house is going to look like that girl's apartment.
Yeah, or even husband too. It's something to consider even with your husband or the guy you're dating. If he's like messy too, just know that that's going to be something you're going to have to like clean up behind too, and find peace with that. Like ahead of time. Yeah, but she's 34. That's a big one.
34 kid. He said she's a kid and she's 34. I'm 36.
You would think she's not a kid. This is a full grown 34-year-old.
She's never made coffee. No big deal. So she don't drink coffee. Wow. She gave it a shot and she made a mess. It must have been at his apartment.
They obviously don't. I mean, she obviously doesn't have no kids because you don't got coffee, grad.
Well, she's an entrepreneur. She and a college
Yeah.
grad female, so she, she's sacrificing all her time to raise a business, not a family. She never uses the oven. She don't know how to cook. That's what he's saying.
Right.
So he's basically, if you all pay attention to this, these are what the qualities of what men look for in a wife.
Yeah.
You have to be able to cook. You have to be able to make coffee, of course.
Even if you don't drink it,
right.
Be able to make it.
Yeah, I mean,
for a while, I didn't drink coffee, but I knew to make your coffee. Granted, in fact, I'd made grandma and stuff coffee, so I was already hip to that. But yeah,
but I mean, it comes to catering to your man.
Yeah,
and I think he's understanding this and he's seeing this. Like, oh my goodness, like I expect a wife,
right,
not a roommate,
right. And that's what people really have to consider, because it's whether or not the spouse would be wanting to do that, because even he pointed out, like, this is a chore. Like when you take on a spouse who may not be up to your maturity level or a basic life skills level, then, hey, it can be a chore if it's, something you ain't willing to take on.
Right. And then doesn't drive, and she doesn't drive or refuses to even learn.
Yeah. I have actually heard this, of course, coming from a large city, just that concept, because the lifestyle is so different. You catch, it's trains and all that other stuff.
It's faster than driving.
Yeah.
I mean, we went to New York. My God, I'm never going back there again.
Yeah. I love New York. Don't get me wrong. I have been plenty of times. I think it's just a driving. Place.
It's no why that was a mistake. I mean, I guess it was a bucket. Yeah. It was a bucket list thing for me, I guess. But
driving in there. Yeah. But in New York in particular, you really don't want to drive unless you necessarily have to. So I can see where this, in a way, dependency of this habit has become ingrained in her. But I think it's really important to remember, as anybody, regardless of gender, it's important not to just say that you're going to refuse to learn anything or ever refuse to learn anything, especially if it's a skill that would show to be beneficial, especially if you have moved away from that large city. I'm not sure where they're at, but if they have moved away from that large city, it would be of benefit now for her to learn how to drive, because a lot of places aren't as walkable, as New York is.
Yeah, but I can't see her moving anywhere. Only before the fact that she started a business, and more than likely that business is where she lives at. In that area.
I don't know, because they didn't even say where they're at.
Yeah, but I was just throwing that out there.
Yeah, right. That's true. So and he just goes back, what about some kids someday and Ubering them everywhere? I mean, as a mother, I can possibly think of that.
She must makes a lot of money.
Yeah, that's what you would think, right? Like that these are some of the reasons why she may not have adopted these skills. Sometimes that happens. It's more, this is kind of something I wanted to get into a little later, but it's definitely common when you have people who grow up with wealthier parents and they had the maid, they had the cook, they had all of the chauffeur, they had all of those luxuries.
You're talking about affluent people.
Yes, yeah, and they never had to learn or acquire
or be accountable
those skills.
for themselves.
Yeah. So we're not saying that this is her, but
that's what it looks
example. Like. It's just an example of how this can come about, and sometimes it's not necessarily a person being lazy, but it's just something they're accustomed to. And if you're accustomed to something, then I mean, this is where it comes in. If considering whether or not this partner is for you, the spouse is for you,
So. Right. Well, I mean, and also the man is using logic here too, as well.
Right.
Thinking with logic, Ubering everywhere is not realistic, especially with the children.
Yes. And it's important to note that he says we've been dating for about 6 months. So this is prime time to where he's trying to figure out, am I wasting my time on this or not?
So he's on point and trying to figure out what her lifestyle is really like living with her living condition. He's thinking about possibly cohabiting with this female.
Right.
Which is normal. At 6 months, he's right on with it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to waste your time. And what happens is that you might end up with somebody in 6 months, may turn into 6 years. And then you all are still living separately and dating each other.
Right. Yeah.
And so don't waste your time, people.
Yeah. And that's kind of unfortunate. So.
And they only see each other once or twice a week on the weekends.
Okay.
And I know some people will probably say she's cheating but I never had any legit reason to suspect it because of her shy personality. I mean, still quite, still, you still don't know her, even though it's 6 months. The
Right.
other portion is actually living with her.
Right. And that's what he really saw. Like, because I guess what he was inferencing here was just the fact that he was wondering why they don't see each other so much and why she doesn't invite him over.
And he
Because,
found out.
yeah. And because she always refused. And he started joking that maybe, did I say that? I started joking. She said, I said that, I read that part. I don't know how I said
started
I'm
joking that
tired.
maybe her
But
husband is back at home.
that's a funny way to go into that, because I mean, it's kind of went over my head a bit, but that's a funny way to bring that in, because you would see, like, is she cheating here? Why you ain't let me come by and see what's up? It's been 6 months. So yeah, that's interesting. So they left the restaurant, all that other great stuff. She was giving him the runaround on getting there, and then boom, he's in there, and the place is absolutely disgusting.
Right. Yeah. He knew that. I mean, if somebody's doing that to you, as far as like, no, you can't come up, and then slowly creeping, oh, you're in the lobby, and then next thing you know, you're in the doorway, and that's weird. And lights
Yeah.
off, clutter all over the place. It's some pigsty.
Yeah, she was clearly embarrassed, and the fact that she was trying to spend so much time hiding this showed that she knows better in a way. Like,
No, she don't know better, because why you can't keep it 100?
Well, I mean, I would think you would know better if you were embarrassed and you nervous and like, dang, my place is a mess.
She never said that though. So that's
embarrassing. That is so embarrassing.
Yeah, but if you're trying, if dating is the audition for marriage,
yeah,
what she's losing points at is being trustworthy.
Yeah,
she should have came out and said, "Look, my place is a damn mess. I don't want you in here. It's rats and roaches everywhere, and I don't clean." So
he would skedaddle as fast as can be, or at least. I don't know. I would, but I mean, I'm not a man, so I don't quite know. But I think if a woman or a man were to open up and say something like that, like, that's a red flag to me. But I get your point of it being
it is. But if you value somebody and their time and who they are, then right, you'll give them transparency. You need to give transparency because that will help prolong the relationship. If you don't, then you end up with like this, trying to contemplate on spending another 6 months with this.
So I get what you're saying. You're saying a better approach would have been for her to just be like, hey, I've been working long hours. My place is a mess. Like, I'm gonna let you come in here, but don't judge me on this. I'm working on it, type thing.
Or maybe one day you can help me clean it up. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you have to understand that she's 34. She should know that that dating is an audition for marriage.
Yeah.
This man holds the keys to marriage. If he wants to marry you, he'll put a ring on your finger. And it doesn't seem as if she gets that. That's not clicking. That trust and loyalty needs to be built here, and this is a prime opportunity to do so.
Right.
With something so small as cleaning in my house, or my house is a mess.
Yeah.
So that's a prime opportunity to be fully transparent and to ask for his grace about my messy place. And that rhyme. But that is what she needs to do. But that didn't happen here. So you move on. House of mess, nasty, sticky floors. It's hot, humid. And I just threw that in there.
Look, I'm over here looking like, hold on, where we at?
Yep, so horribly disgusting, clean. Hasn't been clean in years.
Yes, I mean, of course, he just goes.
Does she even
right
shower?
Into the,
like,
I don't want to judge, but granted,
no, I'm here to judge. That's what this is about.
But this just really shows that, however, there are really some specific ways in which not knowing basic life skills as a woman can probably really be problematic for a relationship. One in particular, it's gonna totally make this man lose respect for you in a way.
Right.
Just seeing this. And this is what we've witnessed right off back. If a woman does not know how to do basic life skills, her partner will lose just self-respect simply off of that. And, this can definitely lead to a decrease in intimacy and passion in the relationship for sure. Because this is, in his words, horribly disgusting.
Right. And he's asking what he should do.
Yeah. Or what will we do?
Sir, you're 34 years old.
36.
He's 36, I met. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's 36. She's 34. I don't know what he does for an occupation or what have you. It's evident that he wants to be married with
Mm-hmm.
children one day.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he's been dating her for 6 months. Um, she needs to be more, like I said, transparent, honest about what's going on in her home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he's at the point to where he wants to get more closely intimate with her.
Yeah.
And my thing is that have a talk with her about her apartment first of all,
Yeah.
and if she sees any chance of cleaning that place up. But more importantly is what do you want in a wife, and does she exemplify these qualities? Because if
Mm-hmm.
not, then my advice to you is to move on. You're at a 6 month milestone. This is a make or break situation. And this is the perfect time to figure out whether or not you still want to be in this relationship with this person, or if you can deal with this messy place, and possibly she is agreeing to move in with you and she's going to bring her mess with her, then so be it. That's you all situation to manage.
Yeah. Which
But
we can actually go later on through, I guess, in a way of how to manage that if that is
mhm,
an option of something that he would choose to do.
right,
Because, I mean, he's obviously dating this girl for some reason. He likes her and stuff. And although it is not ideal under any circumstance, but some people maybe have a little patience. And that's what this would really calls for, a lot of patience and grace for her to be able to, learn something like this.
right. But also too, on the other hand, his other option is to let her go
Yeah.
and date someone else,
Yeah.
preferably a younger female. I would say around 26, 10 years younger, and see what your options are. Or you can still try to date her, see if she get herself together and date during the week, since you all see each other on the weekends,
Right.
a younger 26-year-old female, and see which is better. He has this option. And like I said
Yeah.
before, dating is an audition for marriage. You all are not tied to each other. But at the same token, we all know that people out here, um, you're not always compatible with everybody you first date. So
Yeah.
as a man, he has his options open.
Mhm.
Don't get me confused. I'm not saying that he needs to go sleep with both of these women, but no, that's not it. He needs to look for the best deal for him. It's just like buying a car. Would you buy, if you have $50,000, would you buy a car with 100,000 miles on it for $50,000, or would you buy a a slightly used model car which is newer with less miles for $50,000? You have to weigh
And
out
better
your
equipped with some stuff in
right with some
it.
skills. They
Yeah.
got skills. So you
Right.
need to weigh out your options. This is an opportunity for him to actually compare, you know,
Yeah.
and looking at it as far as the dating game, he has that opportunity.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's my whole thing about that. My
Yeah.
that's my answer to his question.
Yep, that's true. And we're going to actually go into a little, I guess, to just give you a little more help on how you can go about whatever it is you choose to do. First, of course, let's just break down again why not having basic life skills as a woman can be problematic. First off, financial strain. So, right, if a woman just doesn't know how to cook, which was something that he pointed out, that frozen pizza just did not work. So if a woman doesn't know how to cook, if she's not cleaning or doing her laundry, she may have to rely on her spouse to do these things for her. And that is certainly what we have seen in this. And you also see how, because she was relying on him, it caused him to, feel like it was a chore in a way, because he just did not. Trying to go back to where he said it. There it goes about that frozen pizza. How, he was walking her through it and it just felt like a chore. So that's certainly something to really take in consideration, because you don't want your partner, your spouse, to really feel like they're always having to, in a way, take care of you because you aren't able to step up to the plate and handle the tasks that you need to handle. Also, too, if a I don't, this is not so much in her aspect. But even if a woman, if she can't, I guess, financially able to provide for herself or anything like that, that can be looked at as a negative for some men if the man is not set in a place where he is able to come in and 100% provide. Ideally, that's what you want. In this case, though, she is fully ready to go financially, so that's one nice thing. But you just got to weigh in all the other things about it.
Right. And then also feelings of resentment. So if a woman partners, if the woman, I'm sorry, partner is consistently having to do things of
Yeah.
her that she should be able to do for herself, the partner may start to feel resentful.
Yeah.
So in his case, cleaning up the apartment, if he
Mhm.
feels compelled that he has to do it, or if they live together and he's always cleaning. So this resentment can lead to arguments and
Mhm.
conflict in the relationship. Because understand something, marriage and relationship is not 50-50. Whatever you heard that from is not true. Or whatever, you listen to you listen to too much Teddy Pendergrass. Because that 50-50 love is not a thing. You both, I mean, I understand that you both need to love each other equally. But beside that, you all need to give give and take. So when someone's not able to do something, in case that women are hormonal and they have their cycles, so often at times in their cycle the man has to pick up the slack. So that's natural. It's
Mhm.
okay. So you have to give your 90% when she go only give her 10.
Yeah.
But best believe, it will be reciprocated if she really loves you and values the relationship.
Yep, that is so true.
Um,
We talked a little bit about the loss of respect that a man may definitely have if he sees that his woman is not able to do the basic life skills things that he is looking for in a wife. You will totally lose respect in
I mean,
his
that's
book.
what's happening here. He's pretty much losing all that respect for her because she's a mess. Her apartment is a mess, and
Yeah.
he's thinking about ditching her. And because it's less work, why does he have to put up all this work to teach her how to clean and cook when he can possibly find someone 10 years younger who's better equipped and able to do these things
Mhm.
and able to have children and the energy to keep up with these children.
Mhm.
She's 34. She's 34 years old. Just be real about it. They probably can get one child in, and then she probably not going to want any more children. But you know, he has his options open. That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
loss of respect. Yep, it's going out the window when you have to start questioning whether he needs to be with her or not. So
Mhm. And next one. Feelings of inadequacy. So, if a woman feels like she is not capable of taking care of herself, then she may start to feel inadequate. So, not only will this affect your spouse, but this will also affect you and your self esteem. This can even lead to depression in the long run, especially if you are in a perpetual cycle of meeting men who don't want to commit to you because they see that you have some pretty bad habits that need some correcting. So, that can lead to feelings of inadequacy. And that's certainly not a trait that you want to take on when you're looking to be the best version of yourself. So,
and
yeah.
evidently she's going through that too because she didn't want him to come up and to see her apartment. She
Mm-hmm.
didn't even want to talk about it or address it.
Yeah.
But she did let him come up because he had to beg and plead and say he had to use the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be difficult to find a partner.
Yeah.
Many men are looking for partners who are capable and independent as far as mindset and
Mm-hmm.
able to be
Manage a
yeah,
household
right.
without him having to
Had
tell her.
right without a lot of hand holding.
Yeah. Yeah,
If
he wants you to, I'm sorry to cut you off, but he wants you to be able to be and take care of the fort while you doing your thing. Like,
right, but I mean, in her case, she's an entrepreneur, so he has to understand that that comes with the territory. Usually, women who are that busy all the time, they don't have time to clean up their house. They don't. It just is what
well,
it
then she
is.
needs to take all that money and hire a maid because that is,
Well, I
I'm sorry,
mean,
it's unacceptable. I don't care how busy you
she
are.
lives in New York, maybe. I don't know. All that stuff is expensive. They're paying. She's probably paying like $2,600 a month for that studio apartment or whatever the case may be that she lives in.
Yeah.
Hiring a maid is probably
Sorry.
that much on top of that.
Yeah, that's true.
So
But I mean, though, that's something you have to prioritize. We can't like just say just because you're going through work and having all this good thing. If you working all them long hours, you should be bringing home some money to where
Right.
you can show for it and be able to pay somebody to do that for you. Like,
They need
'cause
to
that's
relocate to Virginia. That's what they need to do. New York people, y'all need to relocate to Virginia because cost of living is low is lower here. And I can say that because we went to New York and it's very expensive. Very expensive. But nothing against New York, it's just that it's expensive.
Yeah.
But that's all that's just another jewel that I like to drop too, is that where you can choose where to live at based on cost of living, as far as wanting to manage your money and keep more wealth as well, so you don't just have to struggle and live in an apartment that's overpriced.
Yeah, certainly if you're able to work your skills up and go and apply for other jobs in other locations, that's certainly worth doing, especially if you're in even not even just big cities, but even if you're in like a small area with not many jobs hiring, it may require you going to other states and applying so you can get out, just not limiting your options on where you're at. Don't ever think that you have to just settle for where you're at in that time. And that's just it. There's always things that you can do to help get yourself to progress along into a better situation in the case.
Right. And don't think you can't do it, because you can. Right. You definitely can.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, we have a question. I forget the zoom in. Hey, Instagram. I have to get the zoom in button. What is that thing for the? I forget.
The hotkey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
Zoom in. I'm not sure.
Well, just moving forward and full screen it.
Yeah. So somebody says sup. Bro, who you talking to? Oh. Well, we do an online show, so people pop in and out all the time. And of course, the great thing about us streaming on Instagram alongside the same time as doing YouTube, we're able to reach, and Facebook at the same time too, we're able to reach a larger audience, which is also recorded so that then people can access these video files later on. So although the person may not be up here right now, consistency and dedication matters now so that we can grow, and you will come back and see a whole lot of followers.
Yep. Okay, don't worry. Yeah, by all means, this is a Blueprint Family Jewel Show. So if you have any questions or comments, we're open to them relating to relationships and family. So that's what we're here for, to give our advice, whether it's needed. In this guy's case, he's talking about, and you'll see it on YouTube, what we're talking about. We actually have a letter posted up here with some information that he's trying to figure out whether he needs to leave this girl that he's with, that he's been for 6 months, and her apartment is a mess, and she doesn't have any wife skills. So with that being said, we're providing additional information on what he needs to do, and then also what she needs to do as far as gaining skills if she wants to be a wife one day. So that's what we're providing information on.
Yep, that is what we're talking about today. Yeah. So another one. Now, I guess it's a great time to go ahead and dig into the reasons why a woman might not have the life skills that she should have. And some of the most common reasons is honestly a lack of opportunity. So this would be the first one that's I noticed a lot coming across women, is that lack of opportunity, where some women may not have had that opportunity to learn the basic life skills that they needed because they may have grew up in a household where those skills were just not valued or even taught. I mean, we all can, well, in particular, the Black community, 80% of us are growing up in single parent households. So oftentimes that means that somebody is not there really with the kids. So who is there to teach a child what to do and learn those basic life skills if there is no one around to show you the ropes and what to do? So that lack of opportunity, for example, a woman may not have been able to learn from her mother because her mother was gone working all the time. Or even on another scheme of things, if you look at it from maybe this woman came from an affluent home and she had a maid or she had a cook or like, somebody to do laundry or maybe even a chauffeur. We're talking about the affluent, the outliers, right? So those women may not have even needed to learn those skills. So that's something that they personally didn't value within themselves. So yeah, that's one instance where a woman may not have had the opportunity to actually learn some basic life skills.
Right. And then also through trauma. So some people, some women have experienced trauma that in their lives, and that has made it very difficult for them
Yeah.
to learn basic life skills. For
Yeah.
example, women who have been abused as child may have difficulty trusting other people,
Hmm.
and also may be afraid to take risks. So, and also learn new things. So that's
Yeah.
also an option there. And then also disabilities as well,
Yeah, the trauma in general of being fearful of learning new things is really a way that people don't think of how trauma impacts you, because oftentimes it can cripple you with fear of not wanting to be heard or not, even just the fear of success. So with those fears, it comes you not taking on the ability to learn new things or even the confidence within yourself to want to learn new things.
Right.
So that's just something that happens, and that's something we all need to be aware of as well too. So you kind of going into that mental health issues, right?
Yep. So some women may have mental health issues
Yeah.
that make it difficult for them to learn basic life skills. For example, a woman with depression may
Yeah.
have difficulty concentrating and may not concentrate and have enough energy to learn
Yeah.
new things.
Mhm.
So also anxiety may also
Mhm.
play a part. I mean, they may be afraid, like I said before, to try new
Mhm.
things and avoid those situations.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and avoid situations where she might even be expected to know how to do something, right? So she'll be put into a relationship and it could cause anxiety to where she'll run away from the opportunity to step up and cook or
right,
step up and clean. Kind of like with this question that this guy was having, he noticed that she was running away from not wanting to show him her apartment. And that just kind of that fear of that experience in a way kind of crippled her from asking for help or even having a transparency within the relationship to say, hey, I'm a little lacking on this part of my life and I'm trying to improve. But just even being able to verbalize something like this is really impacted by your mental health and your mental state of being at that time. So that's certainly something to consider if you run across a woman who does not have basic life skills.
yeah,
Yep.
or either a learning disability. So
Yeah.
some women may have learning disabilities.
Yeah.
People may have learning disabilities, and that may cause them to not learn new things. So, for example, dyslexia. So she may have problems and difficulties reading. I refuse to think that this woman does because she
Right.
graduated from college and she's an entrepreneur.
Yeah, has a business
Um,
and is doing well. So
yeah.
yeah.
So this could internalize into not learning to cook and clean and do laundry and things like that of that nature.
Yeah, yep. And of course, cultural factors. So some women just come from cultures where they don't value those certain life skills or those skills aren't taught. This is a common conversation that gets thrown around, especially when it comes to traditional women and modern women, just that maybe traditional women value certain things over the modern women. For example, there are some cultures, of course, where the women are expected to stay at home. And so in that, they are fully immersed in what it means to take care of a household fully in that moment as a young girl. And some cultures, of course, that's shunned upon where we're just like, oh, be a child, have fun, do things, and so it's not expected of the woman to take on such responsibility at such a young age. But one thing that I did learn was that the woman's mind stops maturing or growing per se at 14 years old. I did not know that. And when I found that out, I thought that that was quite astonishing when you consider all that a woman has learned by the time she's 14. And when I look back on my life as with the skills that I equipped, because from an early age, I knew I wanted to be a wife, not growing up in that environment though, but actively and diligently seeking on what it meant to be at a young age. By 14, I had learned a great amount of skills. But then when I look at my peers, a lot of the women that I grew up with didn't learn a lot of those skills at that time. And so then I'm looking at it now and I'm like, wow, those are things that weren't so much valued in their life as time went on, because it's something as early as at 14. I just thought that was astonishing. That's such
I
a
think that has to deal with
young age.
with the brain size, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. I mean, the size of the, women have naturally smaller heads than men do.
Yeah, and I think men was what, 26, 25?
25.
Yeah. That's just, and I wonder if that's kind of where that whole idea of a woman matures faster than a boy or man comes from,
Mhm.
because of that
The
concept.
brain developed faster.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
And
matures faster, something
right.
like that.
And when I look at our daughter and compared to our sons, she is looking to pick up on like skills way faster than when they per se were just more interested in climbing, jumping, playing.
Mhm.
She's more interested in, how do I do this, how, so
The
it's
how
very,
is-
yeah,
right.
it's very, very interesting how gender plays a huge part in that, as well. So those are just some things to really consider when it comes to why you could encounter a woman who may not have those basic life skills that you're looking for in a wife. So it's also important, though, to remember that this doesn't necessarily mean that the woman may be lazy or incompetent. But, either way, a conversation must be had, right? And you were kind of talking about that a little earlier when you were fully addressing the guy's question on this letter. He said, what do I do? So here, of course, you got to have a conversation, and you have to first have that conversation with yourself on, is this something that I'm willing to take on? Do I have enough patience? Do I have enough grace to be able to say, hey, this is something that we got to address in order for us to move further in our relationship?
Mhm.
So, yep. We can go over a little tips. You want to start on some little tips on how he
Yeah,
can do
so
this?
he can choose the right time and place to have this conversation, of course. So don't try to have this conversation when you're both stressed out or tired.
Yeah.
Instead, find a time when you both can be relaxed and focus on each other. So, on the weekends when they're having their lunch or whatever the case may be, they can talk about that experience. I would just walked into your apartment. That place is a damn mess. So what the hell, what are you going to do about that?
Yeah.
Are we going to continue this relationship, or,
yeah,
how are we going to address this?
Yeah, and I laugh, but the honesty is completely needed in this moment of time. Please be as honest and direct as possible. Don't beat around that bush. Don't try to sugarcoat things. You need to tell your potential spouse exactly what you're concerned about. This is the only way that it can really be addressed. So you really want to make sure, again, you had that conversation with yourself. Just like this guy wrote down all the things that he saw was an issue. Check, 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 check. You need to be able to bring this to your spouse, so then you can go to the next step, which is being specific. You don't just want to be like, you need to mature, or you need to
you want to get into the weeds about it. So throw up those details. And you're not trying to make the person feel bad about themselves or whatever the case may be. You're just trying to let them know that these are deal breakers in trying to be in a relationship. I'm not taking the fact that you can't clean your bathroom, and trying to bring that into my life. These are things that you need to work on before you actually before I put a ring on your finger. My goodness,
right. Or even move in,
or cook. She needs to learn how to cook, and and what have you, because he's not trying to eat microwave dinners every night.
Yeah. I mean, like my husband said, just be as specific as possible. Offer those examples so that your spouse can clearly see these are the things that they can improve on, and really be able to put an idea to what they can do moving forward.
Right. Also be supportive. So that's what I was saying. Don't beat them down about it. Be supportive and let them let your potential spouse know that you're not trying to attack them, but instead you're just trying to have a conversation about it, and also to hope that they become the best version of themselves out of this conversation. Because you cannot change people. I always say this: you can't change people. You can only inspire change and hope that they are inspired to make changes about themselves and their lifestyle, so that you all can have a successful relationship. It makes it easier. So
yep, that is so true. And of course, when your spouse is coming to you trying to help you be the best version of yourself, be open to that feedback. It's super important to be listening and actually hearing that perspective that's coming from your spouse, because that's so important, especially because they really feel that they have these valid reasons on why, you need to develop these skills. This is, especially in this case, this is why this woman is not getting a ring right now, because she hasn't developed these life skills. So certainly be open to what your spouse is trying to tell you need to work on, so then that way y'all can move forward.
Right, because those are the hints to get that ring, to
Mhm.
hopefully get married one day.
Yeah.
So she needs to take heed to those, because that's the warning, that's the shock value. If he's having that conversation with her, he needs to.
Yep.
So also to be patient. So changes take time. Of course, it's not overnight.
Yeah.
So don't expect your potential spouse to become a full mature adult overnight about this. She may even become resentful first, to be honest with you, in order to
Yeah.
be in order for this to sink deep down within herself and for her to accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah, and that's like totally the key thing when it comes to just in general trying to bring this up to your spouse and being able to work through it. Of course, if this is something you want to do, this guy really has to sit back and analyze it. Does he have the patience for it? Is that something he's really willing to do? Does he see the potential in her elsewhere? And then that will really help you decide, if this is something you're willing to wait on, because everyone matures at their own pace. So you certainly can't, like you said, be patient, because you can't expect it to, happen overnight. So
it is quite alarming though. She's 34. She
yes.
don't do any of these things. And like I said, bottom line, next. Try somebody else. Hopefully she gets the message and realize that it takes more than just, I don't know what they do, but whatever they're doing, it takes more than that for a woman to become a wife.
Yeah, I mean, certainly. And this, of course, was why Wifeconomics was created. If you know a woman who lacks some fundamental life skills or even fundamental relationship skills, encourage her to visit wifeconomics.com. This is really an opportunity to learn and grow from a live example who's actually implementing these things and being able to turn this into wisdom and apply it into your life, because that's really what alignment is all about, and really being able to attract the things that you want in life. So if you know you want to be a wife, this Wifeconomics is certainly something that you can invest in yourself for 7 whole weeks, learning a wide range of topics. We go all into, I think communication is like 2 weeks, because that's of course a huge one. We talk all about, just your natural mind, femininity mindset, just the wife mentality, understanding men, and all of that encompasses. We certainly go into household duties, being able to manage your books and taking care of the home. It's so many things that we cover within the 7 weeks that is sure to equip you with the skills so that you can improve your relationships and certainly create a more fulfilling life for you. Because that's really what this is all about. Your relationships really do determine the quality of your life. That is the longest Harvard study on just human life and over time happiness. That was the number one thing that contribute to a long-term happiness within somebody's life was their relationships and their companionship. So we really have to prioritize knowing how to do this the right way, not only for our community and for ourselves, but for the future generations and everybody else coming up behind us.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that is our show tonight.
I'm trying to see. Hold on, let me make sure we didn't. Thank you, Instagram viewer, for tuning on. And I'm trying to make sure we ain't missed no comments, because our thing is not zooming up like I usually have it zooming out and up and going to. And YouTube and Facebook jumping in and out. So somebody says, what if your spouse doesn't want to take any actions to move? Any actions to move locations or actions to move? Can you be a little more specific? Actions to move like further into the relationship, like deepening the relationship, making things official?
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying. Well, I mean, first you have to do, okay, well, if she doesn't want to take any action to move, my guess is that he's trying to say to better herself or to make the relationship better. Like in his case, the guy's case, what if she doesn't want to do any of this stuff? What if she doesn't want to clean? Well, then that you have to take that upon yourself. So you're in the same situation as this guy. You have to take it upon yourself and have that conversation with yourself. Is this something that I have enough patience for, like my wife is saying? And am I willing to stay in this relationship? And then also, to what value is she providing if she's not trying to better herself and also better the relationship?
Yeah.
So that's something that you have to consider. If it doesn't equal up to marriage to you, then by all means, you need to figure out an exit strategy on how you're going to tell her politely that, look, this ain't working out. We need to do. I need to, we probably should just be friends and not, try to continue this relationship any longer. See other people. So that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, certainly a conversation. If this is a woman who you are really interested in and you see some potential, then it's worth the conversation, of course. Let her know straight up and forward what your feelings are at the moment, how you're thinking things are going, and what your issues are, and whether or not you really want this relationship to keep moving forward and what that would require from her and you as well. So just an open conversation, I think, is the best way to go about, if you're trying to get anybody to
because you have to get through to her to let her know that we're trying to move forward with the relationship. So what are you doing to do that? And if it doesn't, like I said before, if it doesn't equal up to marriage for you, and these are things that you don't like, then by all means, it's not going to work out well.
Yeah, because certainly for your wife, you want her to willingly want to get onto your program. So it should never be an issue to where you're trying to get her to come on and,
right. Because I always said that, because you can only inspire change. You can't make her change.
Yeah.
She can only do that for herself.
Right. And it could also lead to future arguments, future
resentment,
conflicts. Yeah. So if it's certainly, when you're thinking about making somebody your wife, you certainly want her to willingly want to progress and move along with you in whatever you guys are going through in life. So then that way, she's around for the long term. Because if a person isn't wanting or showing any initiative, thank you, to go ahead and, move forward in a relationship, then you already kind of know your answer. So in a way, protect yourself, right? You don't want to keep giving so much to somebody who's not reciprocating. We call that the unreciprocated struggle love.
Because time is a currency that you cannot get back.
Yeah.
So I think that's all. Any other questions out there?
Yeah, no, and you're welcome to go into more detail we have an anonymous on wifeconomics.com/submit a question. Like this question that we received today, we usually go in and elaborate on a topic. You can remain completely anonymous, but you can give us a little more detail so that we can add a little, more input in. Or you're also welcome, if you're brave, to hit us up on our Restream link. You don't have to show your face, but we can have an actual live dialogue and conversation, which we will be moving towards more as we get in bigger and bigger and larger. So yeah, it's always exciting to see.
And then, as always, we did answer that question. Did the viewer come back?
Yes. Nope, nothing. Nope. I think that was the last part. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you were saying for the YouTube? Yeah.
Oh, that was in YouTube. Okay, so as always, if you can please like, share, and subscribe this video on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, we really appreciate it. Thank you. And also, we're monetizing on Facebook as well, so if you can drop some stars in there, we really appreciate it. And as always, if you have any questions, we do answer those live, like my wife said. So, but that's the show for tonight. We really appreciate all of the participation, and as always, you all have a good night. Peace.
Peace.